This is my audience. Speciesism is the idea that being human is a good enough reason for human animals to have greater rights than non-human animals, which many scientists are accused of due to the lack of compassion when it comes to animal experiments or animal experimentation. There are 10 to 100 million animals that are tested on every year, as shown in this visual. 95% of the millions of animals are mice and rats, and the remaining 5% are dogs, cats, guinea pigs, rabbits, birds, and non-human primates, which include chimpanzees, baboons, and monkeys. Generally, these animals are estimated are euthanized after testing. It was found that chimpanzees have 96% of the human genome sequence, which indicates that they're genetically incredibly close to humans. This similarity has many asking the question, is there a moral difference between Homo sapiens and the other species? The animal rights movement was formed by PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, and other groups who have worked vigorously to raise public awareness and to strive the change between the relationship of people and animals. Today, I will be discussing how the use of animals for medical experimentation is questionable for its immoral practice, and that animals should have the right to live freely from human abuse. So let's begin with the history behind animal experimentation. Starting in ancient Rome and Greece, vivisection, which is defined as the cutting up or other invasion of a living animal for scientific or medical purposes, which was a routine method of experimentation. It was Jeremy Bentham, an English philosopher, who first initiated the public debate on animal experimentations. His statement in reference to animals was, "The question is not can they reason nor can they talk, but rather can they suffer." After several decades of debating, the animal welfare movement started to gain momentum, starting with the Vivisection Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals in 1824, the American Society of Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, ASPCA, in 1866, the Street Society for the Protection of Animals, SPCA, in 1875, and the Cruelty to Animals Act passed by the English Parliament in 1876, with many more to follow. Researchers have developed many alternatives to animal testing, and the trend toward using fewer animals is continuing. According to Ron Allison, a New York oncologist, animal experimentation is profoundly flawed due to the differences between human and other animals. He notes that drugs work differently within the human species, referring to the difference in age and gender. Yet biomedical researchers believe that they can get answers from using a mouse, leaving him to believe that the data provided from the animal tests are often incorrect. For example, FIU, a drug intended to treat hepatitis, was found to be non-toxic in numerous animal tests. However, it was later found to be 50 to 80% lethal in humans. Researchers have designed computer models and simulations, as well as the growth of human cells and tissues, to use as an alternative to animals. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, even they would rely on new techniques of microbiology to test which chemicals and pollutants cause cancer. As a result of the new method and alternatives, the number of animals used in laboratory research in the United States has dropped. However, how low exactly it has fallen may vary depending on who is providing the statistics. For example, according to the Center of Animals and Public Policy at Tufts University, the use of animals in research declined about 50%. However, some private firms such as drug maker Hoffman La Roche say that they have reduced their use of animals by 90%. Although there has been many laws and changes made in behalf to animal rights, there is still a substantial number of animals being used in the testings in the laboratory. The number of animals is substantial because there has been many successes with animal experimentation. Medical research with the use of animals have found many cures and preventatives such as polio, tuberculosis, malaria, smallpox, hepatitis, and the development of penicillin. The advantages of these tests can not only be beneficial to people but also to animals as well. Researchers say that death is an unavoidable part of the natural cycle of life. So while alternatives to animal experimentation is growing, they believe that it will never totally replace the use of animals. Many researchers still believe that animal testing is the best method for medical research, and it is a vital element to the development of medication. Despite the many benefits that come from animal experimentation, animals still have the right to live abuse-free lives. In closing, we are all now aware of the abuse that humans are putting on animals for experimentations and the many alternatives that we should be using in its place. PETA and many similar groups believe that humans do not have the right to exploit animals, whether it be for biomedical research or anything else. According to the Associated Press, two-thirds of the Americans believe that animals have just as much right to live without suffering as humans do. Two-thirds of the respondents oppose the use of animals in cosmetic testing as shown in the visual. There has been many new alternatives created and many more in the process of being created to further help the movement to fully end the abuse of animal experimentation. We should all believe that animals have the right to be free of mistreatment and pain. It's my audience.